So, as part of International Women's Day and our celebrations for it, we're here talking to our very own Erin Carroll. Erin, of course, you're one of our own. You've got your Altrincham shirt on. What drew you to football from when you were young?
And it's a funny story. My granddad brought me to my first game when I was, I think, 7 years old in 2015. A lot of people will actually remember it. Altrincham versus Barnsley. We knocked them out of the FA Cup. Barnsley were in the Championship. I remember a massive pitch invasion at the end, and I don't think I've stopped tagging along with him since. I don't think.
So that must have been a very, very special night. How important is Altrincham been to you? Of course, you're a volunteer with the club as well. How special is it to you to be involved?
It's amazing to be involved with this football club. I've been working on commentary through Brian Flynn for I think 2 seasons now. He asked me for one game to do commentating against Wealdstone. We won 4-0 and there was a women's game being played afterwards. I've been on the commentary team ever since. I've worked with Alty TV. I've worked with you a couple of times as well, George. I've worked on Radio Robbins as well. And I've also been working with the ground staff for a number of years now.
Well, of course, you've been creating content as well for a while. You've been doing it for our very own match day programme as well. How brilliant has that been for you as just a content creator to be covering our own women's team?
It's been amazing. So I've been working on the women's team social media for about a year now. I run their Twitter and Instagram pages, so I create stuff for that, post it out, get it out to people. And I've been writing for the matchday programme as well for about 2 seasons. It was a great opportunity given to me by the football club and I'm very grateful for it, and it's been going very well.
Well, you've also been creating your own content on social media as part of your Golf Road Goals Twitter account. Are you on Instagram as well?
Yes.
And you've been you cover everything. The matches coming up, match reactions and things. What inspired you to go and do that?
I started a magazine in lockdown when nobody could go outside, so I caught up with a few ex-players. So I caught up with the likes of Jake Moult, John Johnston, Jordan Hume, a few people like that. Published it out to people, and it did actually get quite popular to the point where I thought, oh, maybe I can sort of publish this online and maybe it'll get a few views. And since then it's grown. I've won a couple of awards since then, and I think it's been brilliant. I really enjoy doing it. It's my passion. It's what I want to go into in the future.
Well, with winning those awards, that's definitely a bit of recognition for what you've been doing. There's not too many female in the industry, especially social media industry in sport. How does it feel to almost be a pioneer in that, especially at non-league level?
It's amazing. So there was actually an opportunity I had against Maidenhead where there was an all-female media team for the opposition. I thought that was great, and I feel like it's just such a really good experience to be a female working in sport. Obviously the game's grown massively in what was considered a few years ago a sort of male-dominated industry, and I think it's just brilliant to sort of be one of those people that's kind of inspiring people.
Well, the brilliant thing is that the women's game is becoming more and more recognised, more and more celebrated. That's only been helped by the England Lionesses and their successes, of course, winning the Euros, getting to the World Cup final. As a passionate England women's fan, I'm sure, how brilliant has that been to see the game that you love rise?
It's been absolutely massive. So obviously you've seen a few years ago where they were only getting maybe 2,000, 3,000 people in a crowd to sort of sell out to 87,000, 90,000 people at Wembley watching the Euros final, watching the Finalissima and the World Cup final as well, which got record views. But I think it's been brilliant just to see. I've had the opportunity to see them live as well and be part of that crowd, and I think it's just been amazing to see how the women's game has grown. And you see now the likes of Alex Scott, Karen Carney Izzy Christiansen working in the male game now, and I think it's been such a brilliant rise to stardom, and it's nothing more than they deserve.
Well, we're seeing some record attendances in the women's game as well. I think there was a Manchester derby at Old Trafford a few months ago. I think Arsenal versus Manchester United, they sold out the Emirates as well.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, if you said that to someone 5 or 10 years ago, they wouldn't have believed it. No. How exciting is it that we're getting not just people watching the games on telly, but going to them as well? Of course, you're a passionate Manchester City fan for the women. How brilliant is it to see that?
It's brilliant to see that. I mean, the record crowds have been brilliant. So there was about 44,000 at Old Trafford in November. Arsenal sold out the Emirates. They've done that on numerous occasions now. They're looking at another sellout for the Tottenham game, the North London derby. But I think if you'd have said something like that to somebody 5 or 10 years ago watching the women's game, they would have laughed at you. They wouldn't have believed you. But I think it's great to see that people are now getting interested, taking more of an interest in the women's game. And I think the record crowds are something that's been worked upon for a long time, and I think that it's very much deserved.
So going forward as a female in the industry, what are your aspirations and what's next?
I'm hopefully looking to enter a job in presenting, so such as like Alex Scott. I love watching her on television, and I think that's what I want to look at university. Obviously, I've been working in commentary for the last couple of years, and I'm looking at sort of a job within sports journalism and commentary, as that's my passion.
And what would you say to any girls, any young girls, old girls, whatever it is, wanting to get into the football industry? What advice would you give them?
Just go for it, 100%. Just go for it. Whether it's playing, I enjoyed playing for sort of 5-10 years from when I was younger. Just go for it. There's so many opportunities now: commentary, ground staff, playing, coaching, refereeing. There's so many opportunities for women and girls to get into it, and I feel like that's something that's going to only increase in the next few years.